The wind howled through the narrow hangars of Moorabbin Airport, a small, modest airstrip on the outskirts of Melbourne, Australia. It was the evening of October 21st, 1978, and the light was beginning to fade, casting long, creeping shadows over the tarmac. A lone Cessna 182L aircraft sat idly, its metal frame gleaming under the dying embers of the sun. Inside the cockpit, a young pilot, Frederick Valentich, was performing his final checks, his fingers deftly moving over the instruments with a confidence born of familiarity. Yet there was a nervous energy in the air, a sense that something wasn't quite right. Valentich was just 20 years old, a passionate pilot with dreams of soaring into the clouds and becoming an airline captain. On that night, he had filed a flight plan for a routine training exercise. Solo trip from Moorabbin to King Island and back. The route was straightforward, a simple 125 nautical miles over Bass Strait, a stretch of water notorious for its unpredictable weather and mysterious past. He had done it before, and he would do it again, or so he thought. With a final glance at his watch, Valentich revved the engine. The propeller roared to life, and the Cessna began to roll down the runway. As it lifted off the ground, he felt the familiar thrill of weightlessness, the sense of freedom that came with breaking free from the constraints of the earth. Little did he know, this would be his final flight. The first half of the journey was uneventful. Valentich climbed to his cruising altitude of 5,000 feet, settling into a steady rhythm. The radio crackled with intermittent chatter from air traffic control and other aircraft in the vicinity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky turned a deep, bruised purple, and the stars began to peek through the gathering twilight. At 7:06 p.m., Valentich made his first transmission to Melbourne Flight Service. His voice was calm, professional. "Melbourne, this is Delta Sierra Juliet. Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet?" Reply came swiftly, "Delta Sierra Juliet. No known traffic." There was a brief pause. Valentich's voice, now tinged with a hint of uncertainty, crackled through the static. "Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet." "Roger, Delta Sierra Juliet. What type of aircraft is it?" Valentich hesitated. "I cannot confirm. It's 4 bright lights. It's just passed over me, at least 1,000 feet above." The air traffic controller, a seasoned professional, was puzzled. There were no scheduled flights in the area, no military exercises, nothing that could explain what Valentich was seeing. The radio went silent for a moment, and then Valentich's voice returned, now more urgent. "It seems to be playing some sort of game. It's flying over me 2-3 times at a time, at a speed I cannot estimate." The controller asked him to identify the aircraft, but Valentich's voice became more agitated. "It's not an aircraft. It's long, it's moving too fast, too close. It's metallic, shiny on the surface." Static filled the channel, then Valentich continued, his breath quickening. "Melbourne, it's hovering above me. It's not an aircraft." The controller, still unsure, tried to calm him down, requesting more details. Valentich's replies became increasingly erratic. "It's not an aircraft. It's..." And then, a chilling sound. A metallic scraping, a low-pitched, grinding noise that filled the channel for 17 agonizing seconds. Then, silence. That silence would echo for years to come. No distress signal, no mayday call, just the eerie, unending static of an empty channel. When air traffic control attempted to re-establish contact, there was no response. Valentich, the Cessna, and whatever he had seen in those final moments were gone, swallowed by the darkness over Bass Strait. A search was launched immediately. The Royal Australian Air Force, the Coast Guard, and civilian aircraft scoured the waters and surrounding islands, but no trace of Valentich or his aircraft was ever found. The official investigation concluded that the incident was inconclusive. No wreckage, no oil slick, no signs of impact, nothing. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. But as the days turned into weeks, the story grew. Witnesses began to come forward. A farmer claimed to have seen a green, glowing object in the sky that same evening hovering near the coastline. Fishermen reported seeing strange lights moving erratically over the water. A group of campers on Cape Otway spoke of a metallic object darting through the sky, unlike any plane they had ever seen. The media latched onto the story with a fervor rarely seen in Australia. The headlines blared, "UFO over Bass Strait," "Pilot vanishes in mysterious encounter," "Alien abduction or tragic accident." Speculation ran wild and conspiracy theories multiplied like wildfire. Valentich's family was left in limbo, torn between grief and the faint hope that somehow, somewhere, he might still be alive. His father, Guido Valentich, was convinced that Frederick had been taken by extraterrestrials, that he was out there among the stars awaiting a chance to return. Others believed he had faked his own disappearance, using the cover of darkness and the mystery of the lights to start a new life far away. But for those who knew Frederick, those theories seemed absurd. He was a dedicated young man, passionate about flying, committed to his dream. He would not simply walk away from everything he loved. As the months passed, more curious details began to emerge. Frederick had been fascinated by UFOs. In the weeks leading up to his final flight, he had devoured every piece of information he could find on the topic. He believed that extraterrestrial life existed and was visiting Earth, and he spoke of it often with friends and family. Some wondered if this obsession had clouded his judgment, made him see things that weren't there. But others weren't so sure. There were reports that, just days before the flight, Valentich had visited a Melbourne UFO group, asking probing questions about close encounters. He had even requested information on what to do if one was ever confronted by an alien craft. Was it paranoia, or had Frederick stumbled upon something that had piqued the interest of beings beyond our comprehension? Theories continued to swirl. Some believed that Valentich had been caught in a rare meteorological phenomena, St. Elmo's fire, ball lightning, or perhaps a freak atmospheric reflection of lights from far-off ships. Others speculated that he had been disoriented, perhaps suffering from vertigo or hallucination. And then there were those who insisted he had been abducted, a UFO. Eyewitness accounts kept pouring in from around the world, strange objects sighted in the skies, unmarked helicopters hovering over the coast, bright lights moving with impossible speed. The skeptics dismissed them as fantasy, but those who believed in the paranormal saw a pattern, a deliberate attempt to cover up something far more sinister. Years turned into decades, but the mystery refused to fade. In the quiet corners of Melbourne, Frederick Valentich's name became a byword for the unexplained, a tale whispered late at night over dimly lit bars. Pilots who flew over Bass Strait would sometimes glance at the instruments, wondering if they too might see something strange in the night sky. Valentich's disappearance remains an unsolved enigma, a mystery that has only deepened with time. Was it a tragic accident, a delusion brought on by the solitude of flying? Or was it something more? A brush with the unknown took him beyond the boundaries of our world. To this day, the questions linger. What did he see in those final moments? Was it an aircraft? Trick of the light? Or was it something from another realm, something that does not conform to the laws of physics or the understanding of mankind? And what was the meaning of those last haunting words? It's not an aircraft, it's... Did he catch a glimpse of something beyond our understanding? Or was it a final cry of confusion, fear, and desperation? The winds still blow over Bass Strait, carrying with them the whispers of the past. The waves crash against the shore, as if trying to wash away the mystery that remains unsolved. The Enigma of Frederick Valentich. He flew into the night, into the unknown, and became a part of the legend, an enduring tale of a young man who vanished into the sky, never to be seen again. Somewhere up there amidst the stars or the vastness of space is the end. For now, it is shrouded in darkness, waiting to be uncovered.